I'm going to look at portable VCRs again. I don't know what we're supposed to call them. I've been saying that the NV-180 is the base that all these other ones come from, but maybe that's not correct. Probably it's this, the National AG2400, because that's the mono NTSC Japanese version of this VCR that seems to be very similar to the NV-180. Or it could be this Panasonic, though probably not. This is a PV-9000, which is the same as this AG2400. It's NTSC, but it has stereo sound. Then there's what we're going to probably take a look at today. There's the same thing, but it's got an extra hump on it, and it's the, if it's Panasonic, it's going to be called the PV-9000, but today instead of that we're going to look at a Magnavox VR8455SL01 and or the stereo not hi-fi version of this, which I've got down on the ground here, which is a easy to remember, rolls off the tongue, VR8454SL01. Great model numbers. So I'll just get these things out of the way. So probably we're looking at AG2400 based VCRs, but the NV-180 is easier to say, so I'll probably keep saying that. We looked at these docking station things. Well, I put a Panasonic door on that one because it was missing its original one. This is the Magnavox one. Yeah, it doesn't say that very much. It's an Escort TD. So that's pretty fancy. And what we found was, we tried these out. We just plug this in and see what's going on today. It's all good. Yeah, one of these, the channels kept just changing by themselves, which was kind of weird. One of these wouldn't power up at all, and the other one seemed to work in play mode, but it was like chewing up tapes or something. Okay, so I guess that's this one, because this one does power up. It's really dirty inside. Let's grab a scrappable tape and see what it sounds like, just to confirm this. Yeah, I can hear some dodgy noises in there. Yeah, so I think we'll have to look inside this one, the hi-fi model, to see what's going on in there. But let's just test this one, and maybe this one will be next time. What is that? There's like a bit of the front panel's like cracked in. So this is just the stereo, not hi-fi audio version. And I think this one had the problem that it doesn't power up at all. Huh. It's kind of flashed up a little bit on the first go. Yeah, the backlight very briefly flashes. Maybe something's shorted out and it's like going into a protect state. Anyway, we'll just save that one for next time. And we'll get rid of that docking station thing, the tuner timer, since we already had a pretty big study of those. Got this, it's a power supply in the shape of a battery, so that makes it easier to test. So let's just look at this thing. So it's a portable VCR. It's got a 10-pin camera connector joining up to your video camera. Your camera doesn't have any powering, doesn't have any battery or recording device on it, because that's how they used to be. So this is your powering and recording device. You put battery in there or this power supply, you plug your camera in, and you put a tape in, full-size VHS tape, and then it's a VCR. It's got record, play, various features, still, slow motion, and additional I/O, microphone input, stereo microphone input, presumably stereo headphones output, video in and out, selection of mono or stereo. That's interesting. I sort of thought that hi-fi light would come on. Not really sure what decides whether that's on or not. I thought I saw it on other ones. Oh, okay, so that's camera camera with a camera stereo mono. Okay, so not the VCR. So that will be slightly adjusting the pinout on here, I would presume. The converter, channel 3 or 4, so that's deciding what the RF modulator that's in here is going to be outputting on which channel. Record video and audio, or just audio. And mix on off, which presumably is whether it's mixing the normal and hi-fi audio together. And then here is an audio selector. Okay, so if you, yes, there you go. So you can turn that to normal audio, left and right, or just right. So I guess left and right is what we want, right? So the hi-fi light lights up, and tracking controls are here. There's wired remote connection, and if you want an infrared remote, then that's provided through the tuner timer unit. Okay, so we determined that this seems to be chewing the tape up a bit, or creasing it at least. Oh yeah, look at that. So it's putting some marks along the top edge of the tape, and we'll see if we can work out how or why it's doing that, and if possible fix it. And while we're in there, we'll have a good explore around of what's going on in here, and it's going to be interesting because we have not looked yet in one of these hi-fi models that has this extra hump on it. So far we've only taken apart the NV-180 models, which are flat. I do have an NV-180 in bits over the side here, so we can look at it and see what is different. So presumably you open this in the same way. Of course you do, it's more or less the same thing. The materials here going really crusty, so let's see what happens. That's really kind of crustified. Yeah, number 1 JIS, of course. We might want to try dusting this out. It's already full of crust there. So I'm assuming what we'll find in here when we take the cover off is that the reason for this hump is there's going to be the hi-fi audio board up there, and it's possibly taller due to the extra pickups off the video head. Just peeking down there, there's definitely something up there. That's exciting. And we'll take the back off where the battery goes. The screw head shape is different to what you see on the other VCRs. You see, these have like a dome head style. These are all very square. Oh, okay, that's different. That is different because on the NV-180, when you do that, this battery thing comes with it, which is quite awkward because then you've got to unplug wires. Whereas here, on this version, they've got it attached in. That's a nice improvement. Just watching something happening over here. I got out this old laptop too, which I'd put Windows 11 on it to see if it was, well, to see whether it was good or not, and decided, yeah, it's definitely not good. And it hasn't been updated for a while, so I'm going to try updating it, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to work because that's too old. The hardware is too old, so that's sad, isn't it? Okay, we've got to undo the screws from the back. I don't know what the point of Windows 11 is, a complete waste of time. It doesn't, just introduces so many problems and difficulties and makes the computer harder to use. Makes it uglier and harder to use. Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. Ah, yeah, it stays on the bottom, so we've got to lift the top off. I guess we should get this undone. It says this PC can't be upgraded to this version of Windows. Your PC isn't supported yet. This version of Windows Update will automatically offer you this version once these issues have been resolved. Oh, that's so stupid. Why am I seeing this? Does it tell you anything? It doesn't say what the issue is. It just says it's not supported or something. So we just don't install it then? Okay. Fine. I just stick with Windows 10 on my computers because it actually works and isn't stupid. Right. I wasn't sure. There's another screw there. A little tiny one. I'm not sure what that what that is for. I'm going to take it off anyway. Now, can we get this top off? I don't have a service manual for any of these stereo models. I've only got the NV-180 service manual. I tried finding online a service manual for the for the PV-9000 and not successful. Oh, look at that. There's a lot of stuff up in this protrusion. Lots of additional stuff doing this. And it also doesn't have red screws for it. It's just, I guess that will come off. Oh, wow. Look at all that extra stuff that's on the bottom there. All this like dodgy soldered on stuff. That's pretty interesting. Okay, I'm going to pull that off because I've got a different one that we can use that doesn't have the spring in it, so that we can have it powered up while it's apart. This one. It's a warning about replacing the fuse. It's all made in Japan. I'm just studying this carefully to see what we've got going on here. So it looks like this top section will hinge up. There's some plastic hinges there. So let's undo presumably that screw there. Oh, it was barely done up. And then is that just hooked in? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay, so there's some additional inductors on the video head. The pinch roll is very dirty. Otherwise looks fairly well under control. The board is attached differently. The camera connector seems to be just plugged in from there. Slightly different RF modulator. Then we've got this extra stuff. This green wires which goes down and solders onto the bottom board. Then these additional ones on that back board. And then I guess that there is the RF signal coming off the video head for the audio section, or for the hi-fi audio. It goes through into this stuff. It's a very interesting multi-stage shielding arrangement where taller stuff is over here so it misses the edge of the video head, and then a separate shelf with this where the RF signal comes in. Compared to the NV-180, which is PAL, it's possibly just this backboard that's different, because that's where the color signal is decoded. Right, I think we should juice it up and see if we can observe what's going on in there. See if there's any unruly behavior. Does that go on there? Power it up. Ah, yeah, hang on a minute. I think we should clean the pinch roller because that is gross. It's all covered in hair and stuff. We should give this thing a little bit of a dressing down, a dusting out. Get one of these things and just wipe over the mechanical parts. I'm wondering what I could probably do is dangle the drive from that laptop off of a desktop computer, because I have multiple. All my other computers are Windows 11 compatible, but those are the good computers that I want to use, so there's no way I'm putting Windows 11 on those. Even though some came with it, that was immediately removed. So I could dangle the drive off of one of those computers and disconnect its normal drive and get the update done and then put it back in this laptop. It's probably the best idea, because I don't want to pollute my computers with Windows 11. I just want to see whether they've fixed any of the problems yet. Pretty sure they won't have, because that's how Microsoft works these days, isn't it? You don't want to make something that works and people like. That would just be silly. So this one must have been fairly well used, given how much fluff and dirt got in here, and residues on the capstan shaft there. Definitely been used a lot, because it takes a while for that stuff to build up, and so it's not just in a dusty place, it's well used as well as dusty. Okay, we might as well clean the head as well while we're here. It's been a long time since I cleaned a head on something. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Get a strip of paper, some isopropyl alcohol on that, hold it against the edge of the head and rotate carefully. You can feel the heads, like the video heads, protruding out the side. don't want to shift those up and down vertically or snap them off. And you want to keep the leading edge open by curving it around so that you're not hitting the heads on the edge of the strip of paper. There's some big smears on the head. It's going to take a lot to get this nice and clean again, or the surface is damaged. Get it nice and wet. Okay, and we're just going to have to wait for that to dry a bit because I ended up with a lot of stuff on there. Don't want to spin up the VCR with a wet head. Moisture from condensation, or because you just cleaned it and haven't let it dry off yet. Yeah, so you can see this is the hi-fi version because it's got the main heads there, and then the hi-fi audio heads at a slightly different position. Technically this is a 6 head. Don't really know what the purpose of counting the number of heads is, but because it has trick play like slow motion and a perfect still image, that needs two additional heads from the regular 2 that you have in a VCR to get the video off of it. You've got to put the pinch roller back. Let's not get too excited. I'll just give that a bit of a wiping over as well. It's gone all smooth, so it's not going to be very good. And then there's this little thingy to hold it in. Let's see what happens. This isn't an NTSC tape, but I don't really want to destroy NTSC tape. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. You can see it starts off okay, but then once it gets to that, okay, it's fine now. It's starting to do it again. So I think that is like on an angle. I don't think that should move like that. Let's stop it and start it. Yeah, immediately starts doing it. Okay, so that appears to be worn out. I think. No, something is making it wobble. I don't think that should be wobbling. Perhaps we should do an experiment. No, we didn't need to have checked that. Yeah, so they always wobble down here because they're not wedged into this ramp thing yet, which holds them in the right position. Alright, maybe that thing's worn out. So let's just have a little look at another mechanism and see whether that shows the same sort of tendencies. Got here an NV-180 mechanism, one that we looked at in the previous video, and we're going to drive this over. I guess it's better to drive it, isn't it, than pull the motor out and just manually position it, because we won't see it like actually hard up against the end like it's supposed to be. Find a way of powering this. Okay, let's apply some power to this. Okay, I was right in the first way. Alright. So we're in play mode. Oh yeah, look at that. That's super rigid. Doesn't move at all. So yeah, that means then this is worn out or loose in some way. And just to make it more exciting, it's also different. Because see, this one here, the NV-180's one, has got a screw there. It doesn't on that side, whereas this one doesn't have a screw on either side, well, on either of these, but it does look like there's something coming in from the bottom. So maybe, oh yeah, there is a screw from the bottom visible, yeah, like that. Okay, so let's pull this thing apart completely and see if we can access the other side of that mechanism and see what is up to. Completely disassemble. And we'll study the bits and pieces in here as we go. It's got a control panel. I'm pretty sure that's the same as the NV-180's one, which is this. It's just that it's been created for a different front panel. Okay, so in order to get this apart, we're going to have to take the front off. Got some massive clips holding that. The front fell off. Then there's another unit under there which has good as bodges on there. I guess that's what that insulator's for, protecting, because yeah, I didn't think that was in other machines that I looked at. So there's power supply stuff on here and some other kind of thing. That looks like it's a motor driver there, which is the same on the NV-180. If we compare it, okay, so it's a little bit different because the tracking controls are on their own thing, whereas here they're integrated into the board. But that motor driver thing is still there, but it's around the other way. So it's a re-layout of the board. And then this one behind it, power supply stuff. You see, that's got an extra. That extra thing there is that, I presume. It looks like it. Oh, switches now. It's not stuck down anymore. Oh well. So instead, there's a capacitor and some other bits in the way. Power supply is relayed out. Interesting. So it's somewhat different, but still contains the same components. Three screws. Is one hiding in this thing? Okay, what do we have to do to get this bottom board up? We have to do a lot of things. So there's a bunch of screws, but we're also going to have to undo a few things. Let's just look at the bottom of that compared to the other one, the NV-180 one. And well, maybe before we pull it apart, we should try the actual NTSC tape that I've got here and just hold that bracket in the right place so we don't destroy the tape too much. A bit dodgy. So this looks pretty similar. Not completely similar though. Similar though. See, it's still got that chip, it's still got two guys in there. Of course, yeah, it's different. All that stuff there is different. It looks like a different relay there. This IC1 still there. But this thing doesn't have that thing. IC1 isn't there, or it's hiding somewhere else. So yeah, some interesting differences. And yeah, you see the camera connector on the NV-180 is just a wire going down to there. It doesn't have its own little board on it with it, in addition to the wire. This is a proper through-hole plated board, fiberglass. It's really thin though, like 1mm maybe. I don't know if anyone's been in this before. It appears like it's in its original condition, everything all nice and clean. Not clean, but like nicely positioned, not ruined yet. So we're going to have to undo wires, well, flex boards, flex cables that the stabilizers are coming off of, or the stiffeners. Now this stuff, what else is holding it down? There's definitely something holding it down up the front here. Ah, it's this board here is holding it down. Oh, okay, so yeah, you have to get this board here off first by separating those connectors before you can pull the thing out, because a bit of the plastic housing is there. Rough, isn't it? Because there's all these connectors going between. Some wires there. Coax those out. Yeah, this might have been in a bad environment because the pins have gone a dark color. And so it's wondering about these screws, which were a kind of goldy color to start with, but they're now gone a kind of black color. So it seems like it's been exposed to something, some chemicals. Maybe it's from capacitor leakage, from that capacitor maybe. It does look pretty crusty down here. Oh, is that chip? Yeah, it's not on the NV-180. Okay, so that's moved. 315 or something? 3715, 3710. Looks like it's, yeah, like a different version of the same thing. Yeah, moved to a different place. Okay, so this is coming off. It's not exactly easy to service these machines. As nice and compact and wonderful they are, it's not wonderful when you need to take it apart. RF modulator cable. Okay, we're going to take some screws out at the back. Okay, the back board and the top board attached by many things. There's a bunch of cables down there that need to be unplugged. So that's from the audio head, stereo audio head. Unplug all of that stuff. Now here we can get into it a bit easier. Oh, there's some shielding that's been soldered onto that can there. Now that's a hassle, isn't it? Oh, another thing that's a bit different and very alarming is that there's, in the NV-180, as we saw and talked about, they use different colored connectors, like four different colored connectors, so that you don't accidentally plug things into the wrong place. But in this one, they're all the same color, and I just ripped one of them out, and yeah, that could have been a disaster if I'd ripped more of them out without thinking about this. How much of this do we need to take off? We've got to get the bottom board off, and so I'm going to plug that one back in, take a photo of it, or we can put some colored dots using some pens onto them. It's like gold colored paint marking pen, so we'll try and write on the also kind of gold colored connectors. Yeah, well, that's not, I don't know. So there's also three next to each other, so we need a different color. Okay, what about just a regular Sharpie pen? Black on there. We've got gold on the other. And we'll take a photo for good measure. I can get my phone. Weird, isn't it? You don't use cameras anymore for taking photos, you use phones. Now we can unplug the cables with less concern, although they have printed the designator numbers onto them, so I guess that saves you, but you have to look very carefully for where those are labeled on the board because they're kind of covered up. Alright, I think we've got everything undone. No, we don't. There's still this thing, quite an assembly there. And we've got all the stuff down this side, which is the camera connector and friends. Okay, so that's just two connectors that are different. And then we've got the real motors. Oh, did I just rip one of those out? Guess I did. Okay. Alright, before we look at the mechanism, let's look at this board for a little while against the PAL version. Yes, they used a smaller relay, which is interesting. Different orientation, small connectors here, obviously, because it's stereo, and then all those other switches and things which don't exist on this model. So those things are different. There's a thing there. It's like a choke kind of thing. They call that system control there. It's labeled different here. It doesn't have a name. D drive, direct drive. Oh yeah, it says drive circuits, and they are probably the same. There's more stuff here. Jack circuits, but yeah, pretty interesting. Oh, that big diode, which is probably to stop you reversing the battery input, or to blow the fuse if you reverse it, is over here. That has 3 connectors going to that front board, or that only has 2? Oh, that might be because that has 3, presumably because that extra IC is on here, which probably takes some of that work. Good, so the electronics look interesting. Still got the same 2 CPU type deals there. Okay, now this thing might just clean up the bench a little bit. Oh yeah, we were going to try a tape in it. Alright, well that ship has sailed, unfortunately. Okay, the mechanism part, which also, oh yeah, that's broken off now, so we can unplug it. And yeah, the shield part's broken off, so yeah, that is different. We have to extract the NV-180's one by pulling those connectors off that don't like coming out. Now look at that good stuff. So the NTSC one's at the top, the PAL one at the bottom. So it's very similar, but it's definitely not the same because It's different because one's NTC and one's PAL. Yes, they call that chroma circuit ref number 8000 series. Here they call it color number 8000. And then there's an audio circuit there, which is an audio circuit there, but this one will be a stereo audio, whereas that one will be mono, so slightly different. And then there's a video section here, ref 3000, and here it says ref 3000 there. On the other side, pretty similar, a few bodges on that one. Boards are different widths. Probably because it's got less audio section on it. That one has taken up more room than that one beyond that division line. So that's pretty good. Interesting to see everything is different in some way. I guess we gotta peel this thing apart to look under that cover. It doesn't look very exciting, does it? It's also covered on the back. It'll just be more circuits. Okay, mechanically it'll be very similar, because it's just the video and audio heads that are different to make it stereo or not. Mechanism, yeah, the layout of the erase head is different. Interesting, that has a connector, that one's like hardwired with a crimped in solder thing. Video head's obviously different. And then, yeah, the RF modulator and the camera connector are part of the mechanism here. Oh, well, they are on the NV-180, you just have to undo that screw to separate them. But otherwise, pretty similar. On the other side, it's also very similar, except this still has the real motors installed. Got rid of the fake ones. And the capstan motor's missing as well, because that was a damaged one. I think they got salvaged to replace a damaged one in another machine we looked at. Yeah, these are from that. Though that's fallen off because we were looking under it. It's a bit different. It's a different shape there. Where the back tension is sensed. Yeah, that's curved, whereas it's straight on that one. Okay, so why is this wobbly? Is it as easy as just tightening a screw? No, the screws are not loose. Now that motor isn't joined to anything at the moment. Very important when you want to backfeed power into things. Let's see. Yes, that one's rock solid. That wobbles. Oh, look, there's a big pile of crust under it. Oh, maybe that's what's wrong with it. What is that? There's a big thing in there that I didn't notice before. Some thing? Okay, well, let's unthread that now and look, what is that thing in there? Okay, well that will be why, because there's, yeah, a massive piece of stuff in there. It's like, I don't know what it's like. It's congealed something. That is really weird. So maybe it's an easy fix then, it's just get this stuff out and then everything will be fine. Because it would have just been pushing the guide over a bit. But to do that, we're probably going to have to take these off. Which means we want to get them into a calibrated location. That might be tricky. Okay, we'll just wind this in a bit. Okay, so it's in its like calibrated location, because now those two dots on there are together. So if we pull this stuff out now, this arm, we know where to put it back, because we just got to get the dots to line up and then it will be all good. Try not to snap these gears. Let me get that started to lift up a bit. Okay, wow, I don't know what that is, but it's in there. It looks really burnt. Like the, oops, I now I've moved that. Like the guts of a reefer capacitor or something, when it's all burnt. So has this come from inside this machine? Or is this something that's like dropped into it and then crustified? Because really it would have had to come out of here since that's above. It's a strange thing. A weird encounter. I guess this isn't a typical repair because like it's not typical to have goo like that stuck in your machine as far as I know. So I think that will be all nice and stable now. Feels like it is. I guess that means we've got to put it all back together and see does it work properly now. Although we're still going to get the crust off that other side of the arm. Let's just give this a little bit of a cleaning out with the Q-tip thing. Okay, that seems fairly clean in there now. Look at that. Just took a massive dump there. It's still pretty dusty and dirty in this thing. Alright, so then we've got to scrape the other bit. Weird, does this arm touch the, like rest on top of that guide and help it stay stable? Don't want to smell this stuff to try and work out what it is. It's don't know. Let me know if you think of what this could be. Why is it in here? There's a washer there. We're going to have to be very careful not to lose. We're going to be very careful to not lose. Okay, there's the washer. Okay, I think we're good now. This is messy. Great. Right, we'll try reinstalling this stuff. Washer goes on there, and then there's a washer and that special clip thing goes on here, and that was just the special clip thing with no washer on the other, on the plastic gear. Just reinstall that nicely, and then we got this gear, and as we saw, it's got to line up properly like that, and then there's a special clip to go back on, which popped itself off. Push that back on. Like that. A little bit of breathing room for it, good. And then the special bracket. Should be good to go now. We've got a huge amount of stuff to reassemble before we can even just try it. Well, let's do it then, I guess. So that's all good, right? If I forgot any other things, I've had a good look inside here. I'm all excited with what we see. The amazing possibilities that lay before us. Alright, so probably what we've got to do is start by putting this front board on so that when this gets lowered in, you can connect up to it. Maybe that is the worst part of the NV-180s, is that it's such a compact beast that it's really hard to get things all back together and lined up properly. Well, it's very tedious. Okay, that went alright, I think. Okay, we'll do that in a moment. And we've got those to do, which we've got to be careful with. But we've got to get a whole bunch of wires plugged into here. And put a mark on some. That was clever. Maybe we can remember which one goes where. Oh, we've got... oh, no. We've also got the ones that are behind this. How do you get that in? Does that thing come off? Does, if you take a very small screw out, a really small screw, then that will lift forward, well, some of the way, enough that we can access those connectors. Good. Whoops. Oh, okay, that board fell out of there. Put that back in. More wires, just as well we marked them. Good. Okay, so should we attack the front? So we're going to get this now plugged into here. So it's got to be, that needs to be tucked out of the way. These connectors lined up, forced into submission. And that plugs in. Doesn't really want to plug in, but here we've got there. Now, do we put all those screws back in? Guess so. Might as well. Think this will work again? Who will know? Okay, and then that slightly longer one. because it's got an extra clip thing that just sort of nestles in there. That special thing goes back on, and this all just clips down. Some quite aggressive clips. Wire plugs in, which is probably the connection to the tracking controls, maybe. Now, this, oh, what's stopping that going down? Nothing, just an alignment. Now we got ribbon cables into these. Capstan head motor. That one's head motor. Capstan motor over here. Let's lift that up. Good. That's all installed nicely. Now we got the stuff on the back, which is this whole business. Head RF signal. That special audio thing. That's crazy. Look at those green wires. So interesting. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's not the type of wire that you see in these machines ever before. They're always this like non-transparent insulation wires, whereas these are, the outer insulation is sort of transparent, which makes them interesting. You see the shielding in there. I don't know why they use that. Maybe it's much thinner. I guess that's why, because yeah, that's quite thick wires. What a wonderful thing. Where does this go? So there's yeah, this business on the back takes up those, and then so we just got the audio RF, the audio like analog audio. I guess that went under there, and then we're sorted. Try turning it on and see if it participates or not. There was a little shield cover thing somewhere for that. Good. All plugged in. And then there were some screwsies. Hold that in. Now we got this one. Guess we should screw the bottom board down first before screwing these back ones in, but we didn't do that already, and here we are. So now this audio RF input, special cover thing for that, which is weird. Oh, hang on a minute. That's pinching because it's, oh no. Yeah, that wire's routed in the wrong place. It needs to be on the other side of this post. There we go. So there's more room to come out the side now. I think I've been talking too quietly the whole time. Oh well. How is that different from any other video? Except for that one where I stood up the whole time. That was a lot more energetic. Okay, we'll put the screws on the bottom just for fun, I guess. I don't know. Well, if it doesn't work, we're not going to do anything about it. It's just the formality of seeing if we can get something to work. I think that went on there. Yeah, much wider head screw there because there's a plastic post thing. Yeah, that's another plastic screw there, the wide head. And then these other ones, I think they go into the back edge of the mechanism. So it's interesting, it seems like the hi-fi audio is a bit of an afterthought, the way the signals are routed, but how else are you going to do it? Other than getting like a custom multi-layer flex of shielding to go all the way across there. We're going to have to take a few more of these hi-fi audio version machines apart and have a look to see if they are any different, in case there's some different versions of them, like an earlier model that has the stuff less well sorted out in it. Okay, we don't need that back IO thing yet. We're just going to try this. The power. We've got the control panel here. Hook that up. Get that up again so we can see what's going on. And we've got this good guy to plug it in with the power. Nothing? Did they get plugged in the right place? Guess so. Does it need this? Yeah, I think it needs that because yeah, that has a switch in it so that it will disable the battery input when you plug it onto the docking station or switch it to charge mode or something. Okay, let's see. Yeah, look at that. Well, when I was taking it apart, I saw what looked like a switch there, so now I'll put back in this sacrificial tape and we'll see what it does. Yeah, look at that. It's nice and rigid and great now. So I reckon that will probably work. Well, unless there's some other problem, I don't know. Mechanically it works. Video... Is that the right thing? Yeah, video out. Okay, so this seems to be working fine. Mechanically, there's playing a power tape in it at the moment, so what's on the screen looks like what you would see when you're playing a power tape in an NTSC machine that is functioning properly. So let's get this old chestnut and see if anyone's home. And hopefully not destroy our really nice master HG tape. Look at that. Good stuff. I'm going to put it in slow. It's not completely noise free, but it's pretty good for pause and slow. Normal playback is fine. The queuing is fine when it's viewed on a proper monitor. The reviewing is fine. Wonderful. Does that tell you whether it's hi-fi, like running actual hi-fi or not? It looks like it does, because when I adjust the tracking, that light goes off. So I guess it is running actual hi-fi audio right now. Neat. So that's good. Pretty successful. The machine seems to work fine, which is nice. Well, it works fine now that we've hauled that heap of stuff out from inside it. How bizarre is that? Weirdest stuff inside a VCR. Who'd have thought? So I guess we just got to put it back together properly now, and then everyone will be happy. Okay, what do we have to do to finish putting this thing back together? We've got to put back the original, whatever that thing is, the battery terminal thing. Just screw down this little guy, and then put all the covers on, and then we're done. I guess for the title of the video I have to call this PV-9000, because otherwise people won't know what I'm talking about. Don't know, I'm not really sure how popular all these like weird off-brand type Panasonic VCRs were. How does this go on? Guess that's on? That's just not on. I think it's on. I've got to plug in the remote receiver connector. What other weird stuff did I have to put back? Nothing really. Okay, good. Okay, let me get that on. That's just not on. I'm going to get it on, and then we'll attack the other sides. I guess that's the right order. I guess next time then we'll take apart that other Magnavox one, the one that doesn't seem to power up, and see if there's anything obvious in there that's causing that problem. It might not be very easy to diagnose something like that without a proper service manual. I'm not sure if my NV-80 one will be capable, now that we're seeing that there are some pretty significant differences on all of the boards. Get that little plug in, and then that will just all hook in nicely. Good. And then when we put the top on, are we screwed yet? Not yet. Got to just get this wire in, which is quite deep. Good. And then the battery holder terminal thing, and then the RF connection on that. Not that anyone will ever use that kind of stuff again, unless you can find an old TV knocking about. I've got some old TVs knocking about. Alright, we put the cover back on. Is that it? That's it? Why are there so many screws left? Where do they go? What didn't I do? Well, there's two that hold the eject cover thing, the cover down, and there's the two grey ones that go down the sides. Then there's the two that go in the back there, and then there's the two that hold those terminal thingies on. Okay, I think we're fine. Oh, wait a minute, this shield thing is supposed to do something, isn't it? It's supposed to be out of the way so that all this can happen. Where doesn't that want to go down? Alright, that wasn't that difficult. That will just sort of hinge. Oh no, it was supposed to go under that. Look there, that's something to be very careful about when you're putting the cover on. It's got to hinge down under there. Which, I'm going to undo all this again. So we've got to get up high enough here that we can get that in. Then it can come, get in there. And they've got to make sure the power switch is also lined up with the like terminal thing below it. Should be all good now. That looks bulged out for some reason. It is bulged out. Ugh. Okay, that's better. Have we been zoomed too far in this whole time and not seeing what's going on? Oh well. Okay, now look at this battery cover thing. Little silver coloured screws on the side to match the housing. That didn't want to start very well, but it sort of pulled itself together in the end. Good, yeah. Right, let's plug it back into its docking station and just give it a final check over. Now, there's no video out on this, is there? It's only that cable box input thing, so we've still got to use that. Let's juice this up. We're all good, look at that. Wonderful. It's all working, everything's great. Awesome, hopefully you enjoyed that, and stay tuned, we're going to do some more. Next time we'll take a look at the other Magnavox one and do it all again and see what we find. And yeah, I can't promise that's going to be repairable because it has some kind of power issue. Don't have the service manual, but we could have a go. But we're not going to be spending a huge amount of time trying to sort that out if it's not obvious. Anyway, there's this VCR, a Panasonic PV-9000 equivalent, but it's actually a Magnavox, that quite long part number that we read out at the start. Machine from 1985. First month, presumably, 18th day. So, how old's that? Like 40 years old? Guess so. Wow, that's old, isn't it? 40 years old and 2 months, I guess. And it's still in like good working order. Well, now that that lump of crud has been hauled out of it. Yeah. Great. See you next time. Thanks for watching.